So hypnosis is a natural state of being that we as humans all go into naturally on a daily basis, whether it is at the traffic lights or staring into space out the window or watching TV where we lose an hour and a half of our lives being engorged in a program, a movie that we're watching on the television. So this is what we ultimately call a state of hypnosis. And in order, when we are looking about creating some internal change within a client, we can utilize hypnosis to create that change from their unconscious level. Because when we're in that trance-like state, the conscious mind is somewhat subsided or distracted, and the unconscious mind begins to come forward, and that when we're in that trance, it's an opportunity for us to communicate as a practitioner with that unconscious mind to create the internal changes that our client wants, or the individual wants from us, to help them with. And so in traditional forms of hypnotherapy or hypnosis that you may have observed or experienced, or been a practitioner of, somewhat teaches us a procedure of how to guide your client into a state of trance, and whether it be through like guiding them through deepeners and inductions and all kinds of things that allow your client to drift off into the space of trance. And depending on your experience within that modality, you'll have all kinds of experiences around that. What is somewhat missing within that procedure of going into hypnosis or applying hypnotherapy is that often the therapy is not being conducted. And so if you were to consider trance this bubble, the state where we're in, where we go into this bubble, and if a client comes to you or an individual comes to you and is wanting some internal change, and you effectively guide them into this space, which we're going to be calling the bubble in this instance. If we guide them into this bubble without conducting the therapy first, we're effectively jumping into that bubble with all our baggage, all of our internal conflicts, all of our beliefs, all of our theories, all the baggage with us into that space. And while we can create some kind of influence or suggestion on the unconscious mind at that point, we're still going to be we're still going to face resistance within that internal change because of what we've taken into that trance-like state, and so, or that into that trance state. And so in order to create optimal results, to become much more guaranteed to create the outcome that you and your client is wanting for themselves, we want to conduct therapy before we enter that space or that bubble of trance, so that we can go in with a clean slate. And this we can apply very similarly to your coaching services. So consider your client comes to you, they're wanting some changes, and although you're not traditionally, or may not be traditionally experienced, or you don't go through that trance kind of procedure, or have any intention of going into that trance kind of space, somewhat your client is entranced within you because they believe in what you're saying, and they want to absorb everything that you've got to say. So in somewhat they are open to that space of trance. So they come to you with all their baggage, with all their beliefs, with all of their internal conflicts, and they want to create this change. But effectively, when you as a coach are trying to create those changes within your clients, so similar to what I mentioned before, you are trying to clean up muddy water. Whereas when we can conduct therapy before we apply our coaching, we're going to have a clean slate. Our client is going to have an open mind, or at least an open and creative mind, versus having a stuck mind where we're going to be facing resistance at every stumbling block along the way of that transformation and change process, which is where you're going to come about clients falling off the wagon, with clients coming up with excuses and justifications and reasons for why they're not creating the results that they want. And it's really important to understand that they're not doing that, and I'm sure you're very aware of that. They're not doing that with any, they're not doing it on purpose, but it's because of all the resistance in the way that is making their journey of change hard for them. So we can make it a lot easier for them by removing all of that baggage, by clearing up all those conflicts and beliefs and theories, etc., that our client has around whatever change that they want to be creating,